BYU. He needs a big win here at home to get momentum going with this home crowd.
Rick Neuheisel is standing by with Samantha.
I know you're enjoying coaching the QBs this year, but you are still unsure who should be QB1 yesterday. Who's it going to be, and what went into that decision?
Well, I wasn't unsure. I just wasn't going to tell y'all. But
thanks a lot,
Kevin Prince is going to start. Kevin's healthy. We're excited about what he brings to the offense. Richard is chomping at the bit. We think both of them can help us win.
Coach, you said yourself it's been a while since you won a big home game. The powers that be say this is a must-win game, but you don't seem panicked. Can you put this game into perspective for me?
It's a beautiful Saturday. It's the Rose Bowl. It's Texas and UCLA. You can't ask for more than this.
All right, you heard it here. Back up to you guys.
All right, Samantha, thanks very much. We agree. We heard from Rick Neuheisel. We'll hear from Mack Brown coming up in just a moment as his Longhorns take the field here at the Rose Bowl. And we'll kick it off in a matter of moments. What a sight it is from the sky, and it's equally as impressive from down here inside the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Number 23 Texas against Rick Neuheisel's UCLA Bruins. We heard from Rick Neuheisel. Let's go down to Samantha with Mack Brown.
You got the mic? You have the mic.
We're having a bit of a technical issue with Samantha down in the field, so hopefully we'll hear from Mack Brown in just a moment. But there's the young man that is going to start this afternoon for Texas, Case McCoy. You know, if you were Rip Van Winkle, Bob Davie, and you woke up and you were a Texas football fan, you'd think you never went to sleep. Last week you're watching McCoy to Shipley, and you're watching a guy named Acho make tackles on defense. It must be, to a certain extent, feels like old times.
It is old times, but also if you're a Texas fan, you have to be concerned with so many young players touching that football, particularly on offense for Texas. A lot of people talk about payback, redemption for last year for Texas. You know, UCLA came into Austin and beat them last year. They have too many young players on this Texas team. A lot of them weren't even there last year to worry about redemption or payback. They just have to worry about their assignments and execution. And you're going to see this young Texas offense on the field right away here at the Rose Bowl.
Texas won the toss and deferred their option to the second half. So Mack Brown will send Case McCoy out. And that's unless Marquise Goodwin brings one back, which he is certainly capable of doing. The track star that just rejoined the Longhorns team before their win last week against BYU. Jeff Locke, the punter, normally handles the kickoff, sends it deep, and a knee will be taken by Goodwin. So the first career start for Case McCoy will begin at the 20-yard line, and you can see not a lot of experience for the sophomore who hopes to follow in his brother's footsteps.
Yeah, and I think if you're a Texas fan, what you're hoping on, he has that same it factor that Colt McCoy had. Not the biggest guy, not the most impressive guy when you see him down there on the field in pregame, but neither was Colt. It's that it factor. He thinks he should be the quarterback at the University of Texas. That's why he is the quarterback.
And the true freshman tailback Malcolm Brown gets the start this afternoon, and he'll take the game's first handoff. And he'll back his way for about 5 yards out to the 25-yard line, brought down by Damian Holmes. It'll be 2nd down and 5 for Texas. And of course, Garrett Gilbert over on the sideline after throwing a couple of interceptions in his first 8 attempts against BYU. The switch was made by Mack Brown. Of course, Major Applewhite and Brian Harsin both had a lot of confidence that the combination of Case McCoy and David Ash, the true freshman who is more of the wildcat belly option quarterback, would get the job done, and they did. A come-from-behind win in the second half. Here's Brown. Maybe a yard. It'll set up 3rd down and 4 as we check our impact players for Texas, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, there's not many times that you're going to have 2 true freshmen listed as your impact players at the University of Texas, but Jackson Shipley, probably their most productive player already. We've already seen a good dose of Malcolm Brown, the tailback, early in this game. And then on defense for UCLA, their safety, Tony Dye, their #1 leading tackler last year. First big 3rd down test, though, for Case McCoy.
McCoy leads the way, and very close to the first down is Brown. a counter handoff, and McCoy was out there as the lead blocker. But we'll have to check the spot of the football. And it will be 4th down. A half-yard shot.
Well, you see Texas, obviously the key for Texas, stay out of 3rd and long situations. They didn't risk throwing the football with young Case McCoy. They went with the reverse to DJ Monroe. Big stop by UCLA.
So 3 downs and out for the UCLA defense. And a wobbly kick from Justin Tucker. Fair catch called for and made by Shaq Evans. A 40-yard punt, no return, but excellent field position for the Bruins at their own 30-yard line. And Kevin Prince, who has been in and out of the lineup as the starter over the past 3 years for UCLA.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a 3-year ongoing quarterback competition. Kevin Prince started against Houston, was injured early in the first quarter. He's back starting. The reason? More mobility, a better runner. Quarterback runs to keep the Texas defense off balance. And you're going to see a true version of the pistol offense here by UCLA.
Jonathan Franklin finds a seam, and he picks up 9 on 1st down. It'll be 2nd down and about 1.5 yards. Kenny Vaccaro tripped up Jonathan Franklin, but Franklin might be the real home run hitter if there is one for this UCLA offense.
I agree. He is the guy that gives him the best chance for a big play. Very quick feet.
Prince, his first attempt, and it's intercepted. A wide throw picked off by Carrington Bindum. The first turnover on the first possession for UCLA, and the Longhorns are in business.
Yeah, your worst nightmare if you're Rick Neuheisel. You're going to watch Prince right there. He just throws the ball out there in the vicinity of 2 UCLA players, but a great break on the ball and an interception right there by Texas.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Rick Neuheisel watches a quarterback throw an interception for the first time in 3 games this year. Kevin Prince with the pick. Richard Breho, who also has been in and out of that quarterback rotation for UCLA, on the headset below. The turnover sets up Texas, and they go backwards on 1st down. David Ash in at quarterback, tried to run the option, and there was no room as Dayton Jones made the stop. A loss of about 4, and quickly a quarterback switch for the Horns.
Yeah, we see the quarterback shuffle already starting for Texas. David Ash, more of the runner, kind of a wildcat quarterback. Case McCoy, a little bit more of the total package run and pass.
A little bubble screen to the near side, and maybe back to the original line of scrimmage as Andrew Abbott came up and made the stop on Shipley. So now it sets up 3rd down and 10 for Texas. And this is a huge moment, you would think, for this UCLA defense. They could get off the field and avoid any damage done by the interception.
And I think you see early here, this has the makings of a low-scoring ball game. Both offenses a little bit tentative. I don't think we're going to see a lot of points in this game today.
McCoy out of the pocket on 3rd down, fires one across his body, and wide open is DJ Grant. Walks into the end zone with a Longhorn touchdown.
Anytime a quarterback can keep plays alive with his legs, you end up having breakdowns in the secondary. But Grant just wide open. It was really set up because of McCoy's ability to potentially scramble right there.
The play clock is winding down, and it's going to be a delay of game against the special teams unit for Texas, as they were having a problem substituting with their special teams unit.
5-yard penalty, try for point.
So that'll back Justin Tucker up 5 more yards. But yesterday we talked to Brian Harsin, the offensive coordinator, co-offensive coordinator for Texas. I asked him what he liked about Case McCoy. The first thing he said was he can extend a play. When it's not there, he's got the pocket awareness to try and move around and make something happen. And that is certainly a great example of what he just did. 7-0 Texas as they turn the interception into points. Harrington Bindum sets them up in plus territory, and Case McCoy and DJ Grant do the rest.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, Wings, Beers, Sports. Buick. See real stories of human achievement on the Buick Human Highlight Reel at ncaa.com/Buick. And Ally Bank. No nonsense, just people sense.
A $152 million renovation of the Rose Bowl underway. It's scheduled to be completed in 2013. They are building onto the old press box, which we're in here at Pasadena.
What a beautiful day. If you're a Texas player or coach, you have to enjoy it. I mean, it's been brutally hot in Texas. I think they averaged about 104 degrees a day through training camp. Come out here to the West Coast, low humidity, nice, cool, crisp afternoon. Case McCoy's got to feel great right now.
Brian Harsin, the offensive coordinator, we talked about chatting with him at the walkthrough last night. Said when they got off the plane, they felt great here at the Rose Bowl. Josh Smith on the kickoff return for UCLA. Tries to turn the corner, and he's bumped out at about the 23-yard line. There were 80 days this past summer in Austin where the temperature went over 100 degrees. And you're right, in fall camp, they averaged 104 degrees per workout. As we go back to the touchdown.
It's always about communication. UCLA is going to roll to a 3-deep zone. The corner should go back. He comes up. Watch what happens right here. Aaron Hester, number 21, should be playing the deep outside third. He jumps up for no reason. DJ Monroe in behind him. Keep in mind, a new defensive staff here at UCLA. We mentioned 4 new coordinators in this game. Joe Tracy just implementing his system at UCLA. They got burnt right there.
Franklin shut down at the line. Let's take a look at our Chick-fil-A impact players for UCLA.
I had to let that moo occur first before I started. But UCLA, 2 really good running backs. But Jonathan Franklin, he's the big play guy. Had 118 last year in Austin against the Longhorns. They have to throw the ball more efficiently. Nelson Rosario, maybe the catch of the year against Houston. Jordan Hicks, this young linebacker for Texas, played great last week against BYU.
Franklin again. It'll be 3rd down and long. Let's go back to the studio and check in with Robert Flores.
Bob, Washington and Nebraska meeting for the 3rd time in the last 12 months. Huskers scored first, but Washington comes right back. Keith Price to Jermaine Kearse. We're tied at 7 in Lincoln, Washington and Nebraska. Bob, back to you.
All right, Robert, the early 7-0 lead for number 23 Texas. Their first road test of the season. As Mac Brown's team 2-0 to start off the year. They've got the early 7-0 lead, and Rick Neuheisel's UCLA Bruins facing 3rd down and 6. Kevin Prince trying to shake off an opening possession interception, and a nice throw to the sideline, and a 1st down catch is made by Nelson Rosario.
Boy, you hear so much about the back shoulder fade. You know, with the receiver going deep, you're going to look from behind here with Prince, but the defensive back has to respect the deep route. Then the ball is underthrown to the outside shoulder. That is a big 3rd down conversion for a UCLA pass offense that's really been struggling early in this season.
Prince on a keeper, gets to the edge, and runs out of bounds rather than takes contact. As he gets about 3 on 1st down, 2nd and 7 as we take a look at the focus points for
I think the first one they just accomplished, but it was 3rd and about 7. But I think 3rd and 4 or less is critical for UCLA. They've struggled in passing situations. They have to run the ball, improve passing game. Texas knows they're going to run it. UCLA ran for 290 yards last year, but the score, I think they're going to have to get some plays down the field on defense. It is all about stopping the run. Texas with these young quarterbacks, they're going to run the ball on UCLA.
Play clock down to 3. Prince to throw on 2nd down and 7. Over the middle, he's got Franklin short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and 1 as he just gets across the 50-yard line.
And the great thing about that, we talk about 3rd and manageable, 3rd and short situations. The whole offense is in play now. All the quarterback runs, Jonathan Franklin. You could even play action pass.
Texas shows blitz, and now a timeout called from UCLA from the sideline. We'll step aside. A big 3rd down and 1 from midfield for the Bruins when we come back. It's not Bevo's first trip to the Rose Bowl. I think he's got season tickets here. Texas seems to be here pretty often. Looking for some revenge against UCLA for a loss last year. And now a flag flies on 3rd down and 1 after the Bruins timeout.
Substitution infraction. UCLA, 12 people on the field. 3rd down, 5-yard penalty.
Sometimes you try to be perfect. You see Rick Neuheisel on that 3rd down. The prior opportunity when they had to snap it, they're up there at the line trying to check, looking over at the sidelines. The clock winds down. They have to call timeout. Now they change their thinking. Sometimes you have too much time to think about what to do, and you try to be perfect. And all of a sudden they go from a 3rd and short, putting Kevin Prince in a very difficult 3rd and 7. Keep an eye on this Texas defense. Manny Diaz, they love to move around and scramble this defense on passing situations, trying to confuse. You see right there, not one defensive lineman down in the stance. There they go.
And here comes the blitz up the middle. Prince hit the ball loose. I think they rule it a fumble. Now they'll say an incomplete pass. Boy, the whole Texas sideline thought the ball popped out as Keyston Randall got a free shot on Kevin Prince. And Prince slow to head over to that UCLA sideline.
You go back, though. 3rd down and 1. UCLA has a major advantage. All of a sudden, it's 3rd down and 6. Gives Manny Diaz the time to bring the inside linebacker blitz. They don't have enough guys to protect, and now UCLA's punting. It all goes back to that illegal substitution penalty, which took them out of a makeable 3rd down.
Jackson Shipley back deep to receive the kick, but I think they're going to go upstairs and review whether or not that might have been a fumble.
Play is under further review.
It's reviewable because it was a clear recovery by Texas if it was indeed a loose ball. So if this is ruled a fumble, then Texas will have the ball in plus territory.
I think his hand was going forward. I think that was a good call on the field by this Big 12 officiating crew. Bob, I don't know. What do you think? I don't think that'll be overturned.
Well, again, it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call that was made on the field. His arm is coming forward, but I think you can definitely make an argument, Coach, that the ball is loose before his arm starts to come forward. And the only reason the ball goes forward is it's still kind of in contact with his hand, and his hand shoves it forward. I think that's a fumble.
Do you? Yeah, again, turnovers. Turnovers. Both teams, the reason they had losing seasons last year, Texas 116 in the country turnover margins, UCLA 112 in turnover margin. Maybe on the verge right here of their 2nd turnover in this game.
Well, it's a quick decision.
After further video review, the previous play is confirmed. 4th down.
Well, Kevin Prince is a tough young man. He took a hit there, somehow got the ball shoved forward, so it stays as an incomplete pass. But only three attempts against Houston, left the game with a concussion. In 2009, he missed a few weeks with a broken jaw and a concussion, came back to play that year. Last season, 5 starts before undergoing knee surgery. It has been some type of trail that he's taken here at UCLA. Shipley fumbles the punt. Did he get it back? No, it's loose. UCLA's got it. The Bruins are in the red zone after a punt return turnover by Jackson Shipley.
Yeah. Texas 5-7 last year, UCLA 4-8. We talked about turnovers. That's why they both had losing seasons, and it's continuing right here. Jackson Shipley, the true freshman. I don't think you're going to see that many times in his long career at Texas. I mean, that is just an unforced error right there. When you play young players, you have to live with the growing pains. And right there, UCLA provided a great opportunity to get right back in this game.
Isaiah Bowens with the recovery for the Bruins. First down at the 19-yard line. Franklin tripped up at the line. Keenan Robinson made the stop. This week on ESPN's Monday Night Football, second-year quarterback Sam Bradford goes up against Eli Manning. Rams Giants at 8:30 Eastern. Also streaming live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern Monday night with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's. Franklin breaks a tackle, but thrown down at the 16-yard line after a gain of 3. It'll be third down and 6.5.
And right now you're thinking, if you're UCLA, listen, my starting kicker is out. Kip Smith, their starting kicker, hip flexor this week in practice. The backup kicker, who's the punter, Jeff Locke, 18, will be their kicker. That's what Rick Neuheisel's thinking right now as he figures what to run on this 3rd and about 7. You know, they're not going to play it conservatively, I don't think, and play for a field goal. Their field goal kicker's out. You throw the ball right here and try to convert to first down.
They could even run it here, considering it 2-down territory. Prince looking at a blitz again. It's tipped and intercepted. Picked off at the 5-yard line by Adrian Phillips. And he's out close to the 30-yard line as the two teams trade turnovers, and Texas has the ball back.
I think you're going to see the quarterback rotation starting earlier for UCLA than what we first thought. But again, in a 3rd down passing situation, you open up the playbook for Manny Diaz. Again, you're going to see him come with the blitz right here. Both linebackers, you see the safety rolling into the middle of the field. But that football should not have been thrown right there. I mean, Kevin Prince has played a lot of snaps at UCLA. Granted, Manny Diaz came with the blitz, but protect the football and get the field goal. Heck of a play by Blake Gideon, the safety, getting his hands on that ball.
I think Adrian Phillips would have picked it off whether Gideon touched it or not. Malcolm Brown with a cutback. Boy, that's a tough run by Malcolm Brown. Picks up 5, maybe 6 yards as he broke the initial tackle of Damian Holmes. I'm not sure where Kevin Prince was going with that football. It looked like Adrian Phillips, the corner, was ready and waiting. It was tipped by Gideon, but it looked like a room service interception, whether it was tipped or not.
Yeah, I mean, Richard Breho, who started the San Jose State game, they've not had an interception this season on offense. They have 2 already.
The toss to Brown with a cutback. He's got a first down. Let's go down to Samantha.
Yeah, guys, so many questions at quarterback for Texas. One of the big things that may look like a small thing on the outside is that Case McCoy, after that first drive, came over, gathered around his wide receivers and said, hey, guys, after every play, I want you in this huddle tight. Each one of them responded. Early things like this are just showing that he's the leader of this football team right now.
Well, he has that same feel for the game, the same presence as his brother Colt had. I don't think there's any question. That's why he's out there right now.
That's a broken play, and he finds TJ Grant all the same, and it picks up about 8 yards. That's another nice composed play by Case McCoy, as it looked as if he wanted to head the opposite direction. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires for superior performance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Right up the middle goes Brown, and he is met at the line. Sean Westgate drove him back after a gain of a yard. It'll be 3rd down and about 1.5 yards.
Interesting on this 3rd and short. Texas, Mack Brown made a commitment in the offseason. Said, I want to be tougher. I want better line play. He goes and hires the offensive line coach from Georgia, Stacy Searles, because he thinks the SEC has the most physical line play. It'll be interesting right here with that big tailback in the game. Can they convert on this 3rd and short right here?
Cody Johnson takes the handoff, and he pounds his way for a first down and more. Drags tacklers inside the 45 to about the 43-yard line. Jordan Zumwalt made the stop, but that's 252 pounds. That's a tough young man to stop when he only needs a yard.
That's a statement, though. You know, you go back to Mack Brown, 5 new coaches. You see Mack right there. That's not a major play, but that's a statement game for him. He hired 5 new position coaches, a new offensive line, a new defensive line coach, both of them from the SEC, because he said that's the most physical conference in all of college football. You see that statement right there paying off early.
Back to Malcolm Brown. Can't turn the corner, but stays inbounds at about the 40. Knocked out of bounds at the 39. That's a gain of 4 yards, though, for the true freshman. Andrew Abbott was there to make the stop. It'll be 2nd down at 6.
2 new coordinators for Texas. 5 new position coaches. Really a transition year for Mack Brown. But interesting talking the stories of how he hired and why he hired these coaches. Each one of them for a specific reason.
Now it's Fozzie Whitaker in a tailback. McCoy instead. A little hitch to the near side. Goodwin gets pounded. About a yard shy of the first down. Sets up 3rd down and 1. It was really interesting, I agree, Coach, to listen to what he said. He said he actually got on the internet last year and searched SEC teams, made some calls. It's the best line play in the country, so that's how he came up with Stacy Searles and Bo Davis. And then when he went looking for coordinators, called 4 head coaches in the SEC, and they all kept saying it's that guy at Mississippi State, which was Manny Diaz, off of that recommendation. And then, of course, a great admirer of Brian Harsin in Boise as they go up the middle with Cody Johnson and move the chains again. So he did kind of take us through it step by step as to how he put together this staff, and each had a story as we take a look at the Texas focus points.
Yeah, I think specifically today, a lot of pressure on Texas coaches. Which quarterback's in, which one's hot, what's he do well, especially because they're 2 different styles. Young players protect the ball. Anytime you play with young guys, we've already seen Jackson Shipley. We mentioned they were 1/16th in turnover margin last year. And then the third thing, obviously, defense has to stop that run.
And around to Goodwin. There goes Marquise Goodwin. Down to the 11-yard line. Another first down for Texas.
Interesting story. Marquise Goodwin. You're going to see him right here come across on this little jet motion sweep. Just gets speed, but he's a track guy. Was going to redshirt this year. Came in after the Rice game, visited with Mack Brown and said, you know what? I miss it. I miss it. I want to come back. Doesn't know the offense, but like Mack said, you can't teach speed.
1st and 10 at the 11. Malcolm Brown, 10th play of the drive, moves Texas down to about the 8-yard line. A gain of 3. Well, it's a young man that plans on competing in the Olympics next summer in the long jump. He finished 13th in the 2011 World Championships, and he's already won 3 Big 12 long jump titles. And there's no question that he is a weapon in that respect, and they find a lot of different ways to use him.
Yeah, they have a lot of different weapons. You see DJ Monroe in here right here. He's another weapon.
There's another weapon getting to the pylon. In for a touchdown is Fozzie Whitaker. The Longhorns just keep coming at you.
We talk about specific roles for different players. They bring DJ Monroe in the game. He's another speed receiver that runs a lot of those sweeps. They used DJ Monroe as a decoy that time. Hand the ball to Fozzie Whitaker for the touchdown. Good job by Brian Harsin, just taking advantage of different skill sets of players.
An 11-play, 71-yard touchdown drive. And Texas on top by 2 scores.
Yeah, you're going to see DJ Monroe right here. He's going to come across. UCLA's going to think it's sweep to him. They just use him as a decoy. Little misdirection right there. Offensive lineman out in front. Good design.
14-0 Longhorns. Eighth career touchdown at Texas for Fozzie Whitaker gives the Longhorns the 14-0 lead. And a road test weekend continues tonight on ABC. Hard to beat this matchup. Number 1 against number 5, and two very interesting quarterbacks. Landry Jones squares off with E.J. Manuel. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. Coach Davey, your thoughts?
Hey, starving for a game like this in Tallahassee. Those Florida State fans, they're saying it's the biggest non-conference game since Pitt. 1980, Dan Marino came to Tallahassee. I remember that game. I was coaching at Pitt. That's how old I am. I remember the atmosphere in that stadium. I also remember they beat us. We were the number 1 ranked team in the country. That place will be on fire tonight in Tallahassee, man. They have been waiting for a game like that.
Looks like Kevin Prince is set to come back out with the UCLA offense after the Bruins turned it over down in the red zone and set up the Texas touchdown drive. And this will be a touchback. Justin Tucker knocks it past Josh Smith as we check in with Samantha.
Yeah, guys, when we were having some audio issues before the game, I asked Mack Brown about starting out strong. He said he actually told his guys that the game started at 11:30 because they've been struggling so much in the first half. On defense specifically in the first half, originally Dwayne Aquina, their DB coach, was telling the guys, just do your job, stick to your assignment. Well, in the second half of last week's game, he changed that to get out there and make a play. That's what's juicing up this offense right now. So far, so good for the Longhorns.
Well, they've taken 2 turnovers, Samantha, turned it into 14 points. And now in a misdirection play, Kevin Prince gets the sideline. And he's out of bounds, out close to the 40-yard line, a gain of 20.
Well, you see the reason Kevin Prince is in the game. The decide zone, the number 3 from Texas closed down inside Jordan Hicks. That let Kevin Prince come outside on that zone read. That's the reason he's playing. He is more elusive, better option style quarterback than Brijo.
This time it's Jonathan Franklin. He finds a seam with a flag down. Franklin very close to a first down, a gain of 9. Keenan Robinson was there to make the stop for Texas, but we'll have to check the penalty.
Holding. Offense. Number 51. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That seems like a particular killer for UCLA, Coach, because we talked about they don't really have the home run hitters on offense. Those chunk plays are few and far between at times for Rick Neuheisel's group. So 1st and 20, it's always a bad thing for an offense, but it's worse for an offense like this.
No question. I mean, one of the focus points I said was 3rd and 4 or less. But obviously you accomplish that by what happens on first down. 2 big turnovers, a couple silly penalties here early.
Texas shows blitz. Under pressure is Prince. He'll take off and run again. Picked up about 4. Emmanuel Acho came up the middle and forced Prince out of the pocket. And Jackson Jeffco chased him out of bounds.
And right now, Manny Diaz, new coordinator, came over from Mississippi State. He's licking his chops. You can see every time it's a passing situation, he's coming with linebacker pressure. And so far, UCLA, no real answer for that pressure.
2nd and long.
Anticipating pressure again here, Prince. Let's see what their answer is.
Hot read underneath. Poirier makes the catch, and he is popped by Kenny Vaccaro. It'll be 3rd down and 12.
Kenny Vaccaro, I think the most physical player on the field. Safety, he's their nickelback in passing situations. Heck of a special teams player. Player of the year last year on special teams. Again, keep your eye on Texas defense. 3rd down and 11. They're going to try to confuse the UCLA offense with which a lot of different looks pre-snap.
Five-man rush. Prince well protected this time. A wobbly throw, and that's intercepted. Picked up by Vaccaro. Another turnover for UCLA.
Well, you have to ask yourself, who has the freshman quarterback playing in this game? Kevin Prince, I think he's going to get the hook after that. He just threw that up. If you're going to throw it up, throw it high enough and outside enough that only your receiver can make the play. He underthrew it. And Kenny Vaccaro has an easy interception.
UCLA had not thrown an interception, either quarterback, in the first couple of games. Well, they've taken care of that here in the first half. Turnovers turn into points for Texas, and they've got it in plus territory again. 14-0, Horns on top. Three first-quarter interceptions by Kevin Prince on the right, and Rick Neuheisel has told Richard Breho to start warming up. We'll see who the quarterback is as we start the second quarter, with Texas trying to take advantage of yet another turnover by UCLA. Three first-quarter interceptions for a team that doesn't have explosive players offensively. UCLA has really dug themselves a hole here.
Yeah, and what I see, this quarterback rotation, I think the single toughest thing as a coach is trying to project how a quarterback will play in a game from practice. You know, some guys in practice play great. I especially thought that would be difficult for Texas because they have two young quarterbacks. A little bit easier for UCLA, but I mean, Kevin Prince, you've got to take him out. 3 interceptions. There's no reason talking about anything else stat-wise for this game. But, no, I could see Texas trying to figure out, is Case McCoy a gamer? How is David Ash going to play in the game? But Kevin Prince has played a lot of football here at UCLA.
UCLA's defense has forced a 3rd down and 3 after the interception, so they have a chance with a stop here to get off the field and see if they can put a tourniquet on what has been a rough first half so far. Texas with a 14-0 lead.
Yeah, Jackson Shipley right here in the slot. Even though he's a freshman, he's the 3rd down guy.
They'll send blitzers after Ash, and he'll throw it and find Shipley for a first down. A gain of 14 yards for Texas as UCLA sold out with a run blitz, and Ash beat them over the top.
Yeah, you're going to see UCLA. They're going to come with a zone blitz. That leaves some voids, but I'll tell you something. If I can circle Jackson Shipley and say he's probably going to get the football on 3rd down, you know UCLA should have been aware. That was way too easy right there.
Ash stays in at quarterback, flags flies, Malcolm Brown goes up the middle. He's got a first down if the play stands, but a flag thrown back at the line of scrimmage. This is going to be a penalty against UCLA. Looks like UCLA may have been lined up in the neutral zone.
Offside, defense, number 90. The penalties declined. The result of the play, first down.
Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. And these numbers will explain why that's a lot of depressed people in light blue in the background there. 14 points off turnovers, and Texas looking for more.
Yeah, couldn't be any better for Texas. Couldn't be any worse for UCLA. It's that simple. But I think it's key right now, this UCLA defense. Hang in there. Force a field goal attempt. As bad as it's been, it's only 14-0. There's a lot of ball left to be played. Hang in there. Don't cave in. Win this little battle right now. You don't have to win the war right now. Just win this little battle. Hold them to a field goal. You can see right now, body language-wise, they're hanging on right now, UCLA.
Ash to throw. Low throw to the sideline. It forces DJ Grant down to his knees, but he's about 3 yards shy of a first down. So here's that 3rd down situation. Coach, you talked about a chance to stop in the red zone and force only a field goal attempt.
Yeah, an interesting call right there, David Ash. Give UCLA credit. They know when David Ash is in there, it's going to be all quarterback runs, some type of option. But that time, Brian Hartson, a little bit of the tendency beater threw the ball. 3rd down, you have to think some kind of run right here, quarterback run, some kind of draw right here. Take the pressure off David Ash, let him do it with his legs.
Timeout called by Texas. Mac Brown called that timeout from the sideline.
Texas, their first timeout of the half.
The Longhorns combined between McCoy and Ash are 6 for 6 passing. Outside of the fumbled punt by Jackson Shipley, it's been a pretty flawless first half.
Although we honor our alumni, we don't recommend walking in their footsteps. Instead, we encourage you to run right past them. The University of Texas. What starts here changes the world.
Well, so far, Texas has passed the test. A road test weekend. A lot of top 25 teams on the road this week. And there have been some wild games already played today in college football. UCLA trying to get what would be a huge momentum-building win as they're about to go on the road for the first 2 games of the Pac-10 schedule beginning next week. But Rick Neuheisel, earlier today in the LA Times, Coach Davey, the game preview story didn't deal so much with X's and O's. How is Texas going to fare against UCLA? That type of thing. It was all about the state of the program, what this win or loss would mean to Rick Neuheisel, what the future holds. And he seemed to sense how big this game was. We talked to him yesterday as well.
Yeah, a lot of people here. He's 16-23 in his 4th season, but an opportunity because of USC's problems in 2-year probation. He hasn't been able to seize any momentum. That's why today's game's so big.
Trap handoff on 3rd and 3. Brown right up the middle. Lost the football. Is he in the end zone? It's a shoe that popped off of Brown. He held onto the football, and he's got a touchdown. A 16-yard touchdown run for Malcolm Brown with 1 shoe.
That's why they say he's the future. You're going to take a look at this. They pull the guard around. You're going to watch the guard pull around. He doesn't really block anyone. It's Malcolm Brown on a little draw type action. Gaping hole, but right here's what you have to love. If you're a Texas fan, you haven't seen that in a while right there. That true eye tailback that can run people and knock people back.
He tricked me when the shoe popped off, but another interception thrown by Prince that results in 7 for Texas, and the Longhorns in control. Looks like the day is over for number 4, Kevin Prince. As you can see, number 12, Richard Breho, the backup quarterback who's about to become the starter, as Rick Neuheisel has made the switch. 3 first-quarter interceptions by Breho, and they have been, or by Prince rather, and they have been turned into points by Texas, and the Longhorns have a 21-0 lead.
And Breho, the better passer. UCLA obviously going to have to throw it now, but pass protection is the real issue.
Josh Smith on the kickoff return. Maybe a big play on special teams for UCLA. There goes Josh Smith. Trying to outrun the kicker. All the way down inside the 15-yard line. There is a flag down back at the UCLA 36. We'll have to check the penalty. And it's coming back.
Boy, this is a great individual effort right here. You're going to see some missed tackles by Texas right there, right here. But turnovers and penalties. UCLA has not given themselves a chance to get any momentum in this game.
Well, the 2 big plays that could have been turning points for UCLA on special teams. They recovered a fumbled punt by Jackson Shipley inside the 20-yard line, and Kevin Prince gives it right back to Texas, throws an interception. They get Josh Smith loose on a big kickoff return, and it's called back for a holding penalty. So now Richard Breho, last week against San Jose State, a touchdown and 145 yards passing, but he's in a 21-point hold. Right up the middle goes Jonathan Franklin. A gain of about 7. It will be 2nd down and 3 as we take a look at the junior Brio. 3 touchdown passes so far this season. He couldn't pull off the comeback against Houston the opening week.
Yeah, and Rick Neuheisel said it this week. Actually kind of beat him up a little bit, I thought, with saying, hey, he's had a lot of chances to win the job permanently. Played every snap last week against San Jose. Hasn't been able to win it. But right now, he is your best option, obviously, with Prince struggling.
Franklin short of the first down as we check in with Robert Flores.
Taco Bell studio update. Washington getting touchdowns from this combination twice today against Nebraska. Keith Price to Jermaine Kearse. And the Huskies leading in Lincoln 14-10, third meeting in 12 months. Meantime, Notre Dame turnovers, one of the reasons Michigan State is within striking distance. 14-10 at South Bend, Irish up second quarter.
All right, Robert, it's 21-0 Texas on top of UCLA here. UCLA looking for a third down conversion, and they get that and more from Derek Coleman as he's brought down at the 46-yard line, a gain of 12.
Well, you're going to see the pistol. The tailback behind the quarterback. A lot of moving parts. Watch right here. You're going to see this tight end come back in motion, blocking. That's tough on the defense. You got big number 8, the big H-back coming in front of those linebackers' vision between the tailback and the linebackers. You're going to see a lot of that today. That is the pistol at its finest right there.
Play clock down to 5. Brio trying to change the play at the line. Play action. Brio under pressure. He dumps it underneath. Almost threw an interception as Alex Okafor was coming with pressure. And the new season of Dancing with the Stars premieres this Monday, September 19th at 8/7 Central on ABC. The most surprising cast ever, including soccer goalie Hope Solo, LA Laker Ron Artest. I believe he's still Ron Artest. At least on our promo, he's Ron Artest. Unless you bump into him and he introduces himself as Meta World Peace.
Whatever he wants to be called, you better call him that, because he's a rough dude now.
I'll tell you,
that's a rough guy.
I'm not sure if World Peace as a last name quite encompasses the life and times of Ron Artest. But God bless him. Richard Brio, 2nd and 10, slings one to the sideline, has a completion to Randall Carroll, and that's good for a first down. Is there a sense, Coach, when you make a quarterback switch, even down 21-0, like it's kind of going to the back 9 in a golf round, that there's a fresh start? Is there any life breathed back into an offense?
Yeah, the problem
when you
is
pull that trigger?
You've had some double bogeys on the front 9 with those 3 interceptions. I mean, you're in the clubhouse right now after the front 9, but you have a hard time breaking 100. You know, so, but I do agree, you do get a fresh start. It energizes you a little bit. It gives him an opportunity right here, and really not a lot of pressure on Brio right now. They're down 21-0. Kevin Prince didn't play worth a darn.
Coleman for a yard up the middle, but so much time left in this football game. And obviously, you probably, if you're Rick Neuheisel, I would think, trying to drive the point home. Guys, we're probably going to get the football 8-9 more times in this game.
A great point. And on the flip side, you're Texas. You come out here with all these young players. Max talked about, hey, first game on the road, how tough it's going to be, hostile environment, long trip. Sometimes you get ahead too fast, too early, and you become complacent, particularly with young players like Texas has. So there's a lot of ball left to be played now. But can UCLA keep from self-inflicting wounds to themselves?
Trick play here. On the reverse, trying to turn the corner to Smith. A couple of yards shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Carrington Bindum stayed home and closed the gap on Josh Smith.
And I think what you see, we watched tape yesterday, Bob, the speed difference. When you put UCLA's tape on, they have good-looking players and experienced players. They are not as fast as Texas. And that was a great indication right there on that play. Texas, much more team speed than UCLA.
Contact in the line. This might be a free first down for UCLA.
Offside. defense, number 95, with contact. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Time you play an attacking style defense, you see Dorsey, the sophomore defensive tackle, really had what Texas people thought was a breakout game last week against BYU. But when you play an attacking style, cadence is always a good weapon if you're the offense. That time Briho got him to jump.
Midway through the second quarter, Briho's first drive at quarterback. Tries to escape the rush. Running for his life. Almost intercepted. Another unnecessary chance taken by UCLA quarterback. Again, Kevin Prince out of the game after throwing 3 interceptions. And Emmanuel Acho on the rush forces Briho into an ill-advised throw.
Right now, the theme of this game, Manny Diaz bringing those linebacker plug stunts. UCLA, particularly on play action. Watch Acho right now jump right up into that A gap. On play action pass, it's really difficult to block that. You see the back step up who was deep in the backfield. Another poor decision by Briho, but they have to solve the linebacker pressure because that's Manny Diaz's deal right now against this UCLA offense.
Up the middle goes Coleman. At the 10, stays on his feet. Knocked out of bounds just shy of the pylon. First and goal, UCLA. A big run by Derek Coleman. Kenny Vaccaro saved the touchdown, but it'll be first and goal.
Yeah, big Coleman at 240 pounds just kind of squirted through there. You know, it wasn't a gaping hole. He just kind of very patient run. You watch this right here. There's not a gaping hole up in here. He's really patient, though. And then he makes Vaccaro miss. This is a 240-pound tailback who had 100-some yards in the second half against San Jose State last week.
27-yard run by Coleman makes it first and goal at the 1, and this is a must for UCLA. They have to have 7 points here. Coleman again. And they've got their 6. The extra point could make it a 2-touchdown lead for Texas. A 10-play, 74-yard touchdown drive.
Yeah, and what you love about that drive, UCLA overcame some adversity because they had the holding call on the kickoff return. They didn't fold. They didn't hang their heads. That was a key drive right there. Again, Coleman right now on the short yardage play, 135 yards against San Jose State. Good, tough run.
Now this could be an adventure for Jeff Locke, the punter forced to place kicking duties. Boy, he made that look pretty easy. UCLA is on the board. It's a 2-score game here in Pasadena.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by AT&T. Get it faster with 4G. We think possible. And Dr. Pepper. With 23 flavors, Dr. Pepper is always one of a kind.
Built in 1925, the Pasadena Playhouse has been a home away from home for the likes of Gene Hackman and Dustin Hoffman in the past. And right down the road, the Rose Bowl, and some reason for belief for the UCLA fans. We drew the golf analogy before. They might have had a couple of double bogeys on the front 9, but UCLA just birdied 10.
Yeah, Briho and Coleman giving them a spark, but if I'm UCLA right here, there's a lot of speed back there returning for Texas. With Goodwin, DJ Monroe, they have 2 burners. You better cover this kick.
And this one will be returnable for Goodwin. And good kickoff coverage as he's brought down at the 24. Sunday NFL Countdown returns this season with a new start time in 3 hours. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Keyshawn Johnson, Mike Ditka, Chris Carter, Chris Mortensen, Adam Schefter, and the gang provide all the news and latest updates right up until kickoff. And then ESPN2 with a new fall lineup each Sunday morning, starting with Outside the Lines, hosted by Bob Lee at 10 a.m. Plenty of football coverage on your NFL Sundays on ESPN. The first possession outside of the opening possession where Texas gets the football and it's not off a turnover. In this case, McCoy flips one into traffic and it's knocked away. A risky throw by McCoy as we head back to Robert Flores.
Hey, Bob, Washington is looking to start 3-0 for the first time since 2001, but they're trailing after Nebraska's Taylor Martinez hooks up with Aaron Green, 26-yard touchdown. Huskers back on top at home, 17-14. And former Longhorn defensive coordinator Will Muschamp making his SEC debut. Gators leading 16-0 on the Vols at the Swamp. Bob.
Well, Robert, after the first Texas incompletion, 2nd down and 10. Draw play. Malcolm Brown fights his way out across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 7. And Coach Davey over on that UCLA sideline. Hey, guys, we made a quarterback change. We didn't shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
We went down and scored a touchdown. Now it's 3rd and 7.
And now an interesting call right here. Your Texas momentum kind of creeping back a little bit to UCLA. 3rd and 7. How aggressive are you right here with the young quarterback? Is it quarterback draw? Is it screen? Or do they let Case McCoy try to make a play right here?
Here comes the blitz. He looks over the middle and it's incomplete. Intended for Fozzie Whitaker. Zumwalt came untouched. 3 downs and out. And all of a sudden the Rose Bowl starts to sound like they have some belief.
Yeah, when you have a young football team like Mack Brown has, preaching that message that it's a long, long game. There's going to be a lot of peaks and a lot of valleys throughout this game. Right now, UCLA has a chance to gain some momentum.
Pretty good punt, chasing Shaq Evans to the far sideline. Bobbles it for a moment, and he will go down at his own 22-yard line. So that changed field position. Terrific kick by Justin Tucker of 51 yards. Aerial coverage provided here in Pasadena by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires for superior performance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Boy, from the time you're about 7 years old, this is a shot. If you're a college football fan, that is, you've grown up with it.
You're right.
Huge drive here for UCLA. Quarterback keeper out to about the 26-yard line, and an injury update that's key as well. Let's check in with Samantha.
An injury update with John Franklin. Guys, he still should be able to hold the ball high and tight, but they did wrap up his right shoulder. Bigger deal right now is this energized sideline. Right now they've got the fans behind them. They're actually cheering for Richard Breho. Breho has the fans behind him, and he certainly has his team behind him. Everybody's up.
A lot of life, you're right, Samantha, has been breathed back into this game by UCLA, but we'll see if Jonathan Franklin can return a shoulder injury. Here's Breho, try to turn the corner, and he lost a couple of yards. So now it's 3rd down. Adrian Phillips made the stop, 3rd and 8. But Coach Davey, UCLA starts the 3rd quarter with the football. So under 5 minutes to go, if you could find a way to get a touchdown here, you can come out of the locker room with a chance to tie the game. This is really a huge drive to keep alive.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And right now, see Kevin Prince, it's a tough situation for a young man. But how do you block? How do you handle these linebacker blitzes from Texas? Because I think Manny Diaz will continue to heat him up. See kind of the scramble look. Texas moving those defensive linemen around. They're going to come with that linebacker pressure right here. Here it comes.
Nowhere to go for Breho. Has to eat the ball back inside his own 20-yard line as Acho gets the sack. So 3 downs and out for UCLA. And they'll have to punt from inside their own 10.
Yeah, that was a broken protection right here. You're going to see the right tackle slide out. I mean, that's just opening the floodgates right there. I mean, that is not that sophisticated of a blitz. UCLA should be able to handle that. They've seen it about 3 or 4 times now already.
Manny Diaz spent a week back in the spring at New York Jets camp studying the defense of Rex Ryan. As Jeff Locke lets one go, Shipley makes a fair catch. Great field position for Texas at their own 41-yard line. And Texas with a 2-touchdown lead. Bob Wischusen, Bob Davies, Samantha Steele back in Pasadena, where Texas has passed their road test so far, up 2 touchdowns with 3:41 to go before halftime, and great field position. looking for more before halftime. Trap handoff to Goodwin. Marquise Goodwin tries to turn the corner. He is out of bounds right at the first down marker. He has a Texas first down into plus territory, a gain of 11.
You love the multiple weapons that Brian Hartson has, but how does he mesh it all together? You know, they're still in the phase of his first year as the offensive coordinator. All these different guys with different skill sets. If they can get all this together and execute, they have a chance to be a really good football team by the end of this year. I mean, there's a lot of speed, a lot of playmakers. It's just, can you be consistent with this many different packages of offense?
And they'll run the option. Ash, nowhere to pitch it. Cuts it back. That's a pretty good job of pursuit by that UCLA defense. A gain of 1. And Longhorn fans, don't miss out on another great Texas football game. The Longhorns will take on Kansas only on the Longhorn Network, October 29th. Raise your horns and call your TV service provider today to let them know that you want the Longhorn Network.
I can't emphasize enough how difficult it is on a play caller to shuffle guys in and out. Now a different quarterback, Case McCoy, in a different mindset, a different set of plays that he can execute. A lot of moving parts.
He gives it to Whitaker, and that one didn't fool UCLA a bit. Cassius Marsh, the sophomore defensive tackle, was there to make the stop. So now it's third down and close to 10.
Yeah, you're always tempted, like Rick Neuheisel right here, to call timeout. I know maybe that sounds crazy, but 3rd and 10, 2 minutes and 21 seconds left. If you're Texas, you're going to let this clock run all the way down, the 40-second clock. That's not a bad time to call timeout. Show some confidence in your defense and don't let all that clock run. Because you can stop the clock a lot better on offense than you can defense.
Or do you let Case McCoy manage the game here or try and make a play on 3rd and 10? UCLA shows blitz, and they might have induced a false start.
It's going to be an interesting call right here. It might be offsides on UCLA.
Offside, defense, number 94, 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, he actually caused the offensive lineman to flinch that time.
Well, how does this change play calling if you're Brian Harsin when you've got 3rd down and 5 now and a spot where even if you don't get it, if you punt, probably inside the 15-yard line?
Yeah, I think dramatically changes it. 3rd and 5. Also, you think about which quarterback do you want to put in. You go with Ash now because it's a potential quarterback rundown. But that's the mindset. That's all the things he has to think as he makes this call.
Ash right up the seam. He's got Shipley for a first down. So the quarterback change, and Ash instead throws for it, a gain of 12 to Jackson Shipley.
Yeah, and that doesn't look like Boise State, where Harsin came from. Give him a lot of credit. I mean, he's doing what he has to do with this Texas offense. A little option type fake. Hits Jackson Shipley on the dump pass. But again, let's go back to that offside penalty on 3rd down by UCLA.
To McCoy at quarterback, wants to set up the screen. And that one is snuffed out by UCLA. A loss of 2. Sean Westgate was there on Brown to make the stop. Cassius Marsh as well. And that will stop the clock with 1:24 to go here in the first half as Texas calls a timeout.
Yeah, it's easy to keep track of those turnovers and say UCLA's had 3 turnovers. Obviously has hurt them, 3 interceptions, but also some costly penalties. You know, it's not always the number of penalties, it's when the penalties occur. They had the big hold on the kickoff return. They just had that offsides right there on 3rd and long, which they probably would have had possession of the ball back.
Up by 2 touchdowns, knowing UCLA starts the 3rd quarter with the football. If you're Mack Brown, just from a strategic standpoint, and I guess Harsin from an Applewhite from a play calling standpoint as well, how much of this is making sure that you finish the first half with the football, even if it only means getting 3? Or how aggressive are you going for the home run, knowing that you could be back up by 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, and doing it with quarterbacks you haven't seen in these situations specifically before. A lot of answers, a lot of questions right now you're calling those plays for Texas.
Here's McCoy under pressure into traffic, and he's got a man. It's DJ Grant. He's had a big first half, and he's got a first down catch. Tony Dye on the stop.
You talk about presence. You talk about the it factor. I think Case McCoy showed it right there.
Wants to get his team lined up so he can spike it and preserve some time and hold on to that last time out for Texas. So good clock management. 1:08 to go in the first half.
Yeah, we kind of talk about just presence. And that's the thing that Mack Brown loves about Case McCoy. Watch right here. He's going to get some pressure. His ability to make throws on the run. It's not the prettiest thing. It's something you don't coach guys necessarily to do. But right here, that's one of those oh no. But that's what makes you special, Case McCoy. Keep doing it moments.
Four-man rush. McCoy broken up at the goal line. Great coverage by Aaron Hester. Knocked it free from Mike Davis. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Check that, 3rd down and 10 because of the spike.
Yeah, Mike Davis is a guy you keep waiting for him. It's tough on him because he has some young quarterbacks. But Mike Davis last year as a freshman was a big-time impact receiver for the University of Texas. Hasn't had many opportunities this year.
Out of high school on ESPNU, we projected him as the #2 wide receiver prospect in the country. 9th play of the drive here, 3rd down and 10. McCoy flips it left, wide open is Davis. He's got a first down, he picks up a block, that'll draw a flag. Davis is out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. Texas is celebrating the block. Andrew Abbott hit hard by Goodwin, and the moment that the block came out, a flag came as well.
Yeah, Marcus Goodwin, you're going to see him up here at the top. The track guy turns into a blocker.
Personal foul. Offense.
The question.
Number 84. Illegal contact above the shoulder. 15-yard penalty. 3rd down.
I think it's a good call. I mean, to me, that's the definition of helmet to helmet. He knocked his helmet off. This is scary, and Andrew Abbott really shaken up as we take another look. And this one worth looking at full speed because the violence of this hit and the blindside nature of it draws the personal foul. Andrew Abbott, a former walk-on junior from Long Beach, looks like he's sitting up. Let's take a look.
There's been such an emphasis on that. And I think the NCAA has done a great job the last several years of helmet-to-helmet blows above the shoulder hits. Several years ago, that penalty would not have been called. Several years ago, those kind of hits were the one that made SportsCenter, that everyone applauded players for making. Now they're trying to get away from that as a protective measure for players.
And rightfully so. I mean, you don't have to hit a player the way Goodwin just did in order to accomplish the goal of making sure he doesn't tackle the ball carrier. Your job there to block him, you can just wall him off. And Mike Davis still would have had the sideline. So a 15-yard penalty makes it 3rd down and 18 back outside the 25-yard line. McCoy under pressure. The pocket starts to collapse. How long can he extend this play? All the way back to his own 40-yard line. And he finds Davis. Davis inside the 5. 1st and goal, Texas, as Case McCoy just kept that play alive.
Well, Colt McCoy has to be smiling up there in Cleveland or wherever he is right now. But when we get a chance to replay that one, that was the it. That was the it factor. Good presence right here. Texas with 1 timeout. Plenty of time right here. Clock just now winding. That was an incredible play by Case McCoy, staying alive.
Cody Johnson is the I-back. 25 seconds to go in the half. Play action, flags down, wide open, it's a touchdown. It'll be the second first half touchdown for DJ Grant if the play stands.
Offside, defense, number 56. The penalties declined. The result of the play, touchdown.
Like I said earlier, how do you project, based on how a guy plays in practice, how he's going to play in the game at quarterback? Case McCoy, when the lights come on and it's game time, he's got a little magic to him now.
And what a killer for UCLA as well, as they're down 3 touchdowns once again with 21 seconds to go before halftime. After the personal foul penalty and Marquise Goodwin, you've got them backed up in 3rd down and 18.
Yeah, and I think
you still end up giving up the first down on the McCoy screen.
Yeah, it's the all-22, but just watch the quarterback. I mean, this is self-explanatory right here. I mean, that's Doug Flutie. Impossible to stay in coverage that long. Finds a wide open Mike Davis. Then they punch it in for the touchdown. Off the play action. You're going to see a little play action pass right here for the touchdown. It's a heck of a play. You said it. I mean, backed up after the personal foul penalty on Goodwin, 3rd and long. UCLA in position to take them out of field goal range. It's one man making a great play, Case McCoy, and keeps the play alive. That's why he is the quarterback at the University of Texas. Not the biggest guy, not the strongest guy. May not do things at practice that just make it a unanimous decision that he's the guy, but he's got some magic.
Squib tick out to about the 25-yard line. Out to the 38-yard line goes Philip Rule, as Texas plays field position with 14 seconds to go in the first half. And what a momentum shift. UCLA had so much rolling back in their direction after Brijo engineered that touchdown drive to make it 21-7, and they got the football back with about 5 minutes to go, knowing they get it coming out to start the 3rd quarter, but 3 downs and out. Rick Neuheisel's defense couldn't shut down the 3rd down and 18. The McCoy scramble keeps the drive alive, and it's a 3-touchdown lead again for Texas. Brijo up the middle. Rosario can't hold on. That went right through his hands.
You took that shot of Rick Neuheisel on the sidelines. You talked about that story in the LA Times today. He's taking a lot of heat, but players have to make plays. I mean, those 3 interceptions by Kevin Prince, at some point when a kid gets out there and takes the snap, you have the responsibility as a coach to coach them up all week, but they have to play. And just like that situation right there on 3rd and long, they had plenty of opportunity to sack Case McCoy and force Texas to punt.
Again for Rosario. He's got it out of bounds inside the 35 at the 34-yard line with 3 seconds to go in the first half. Now, do you try a long field goal on the last play of the first half when you know you don't have your first string kicker? Jeff Locke is the punter, and he has attempted a couple of, obviously knocked down an extra point on the UCLA touchdown, and it looks like they are going to try a long field goal with Jeff Locke.
Yeah, and Locke, tremendous leg strength. You know, excellent punter, 51-yard field goal. The only thing you have to watch, Texas blocking this thing because of the low trajectory, because it's a long field goal. But go ahead and take a shot right here with Locke. I think he has the leg strength.
He definitely has the distance. And he knocks it down. A 51-yard field goal by the punter. So UCLA, we mentioned it, they will start the 3rd quarter with the football. Down by 18 now, though, as we check in with Samantha.
Coach, obviously some early struggles at QB, but how do you change the protection to account for all this blitzing?
Well, we had a miscue early. We got to make sure that we've solved that one. But I think we've got some answers. We're going to come back and play. We've kind of got some rhythm now. The 3 points at the end gives us a little momentum. We get the ball in the second half. We got to make this a game.
As you go into half.
Welcome back to Road Test Weekend. Bob Wischusen and Bob Davies, Samantha Steele at the Rose Bowl. Rick Neuheisel's UCLA Bruins behind by 18. Texas on top, and Coach Davey, what has to happen in the second half for UCLA to mount the comeback?
Well, there's some locker room alerts going on for UCLA. First of all, just schematically, number one thing is they have to find a way to block this linebacker pressure from Texas on passing downs. Probably four times in the first half on passing downs, Manny Diaz came with the double inside linebacker pressure. You're going to see it again right here. They have to address some individual performance issues with the interceptions, but schematically, this linebacker pressure has caused UCLA nightmares in the first half. You know they're going to have to throw it in the second half, so you get on that blackboard right away if you're Rick Neuheisel. What's our answer?
You think that's the first thing they talked about when they went in the locker room?
I don't think there's any question. I mean, it's obvious they can't throw interceptions. It's obvious they can't make the silly mistakes with penalties, but schematically, you have to say, okay, how are we going to handle this and what's our answer? Because Manny Diaz is going to wear you out if you don't handle that.
Josh Smith, the Colorado transfer, brings it out. Breaks a tackle. Finds a cutback lane. And goes down at the 24-yard line. Now, for Mack Brown's team, a couple of times in the first half, as well as they played and as much as they made impact plays on defense, they did allow UCLA to flip the momentum a bit. What do you think he told his team?
I think you have to be able to handle Coleman, the running game, first. I mean, UCLA's still in a position here where they can pretty much stay on balance on offense. Coleman came in and gave them a spark in the running game. But I think the biggest thing for Mack Brown with all these young players, convince them that this game is far from over now.
Breho on a keeper, picks up about 3 yards, and Samantha spoke with Coach Brown. Samantha?
Yeah, you guys must have been listening in on our conversation, because that's pretty much exactly what Mack Brown just said. He was upset about that last field goal because it switched the momentum going in UCLA's direction. The other issue was the long kickoff return, because he said even though it got called back, it exposed some areas in that on special teams. And the other issue is that complacency cannot set in. They have to remember, in his words, that they kicked their rear ends last year, guys.
That's a very good point, and I think that builds off of your point, Coach, of making sure that a young football team doesn't take an 18-point lead for granted in the second half, as Breho looks to go up top. Down the sideline, he's got 4. Inside the 40-yard line of Texas and out of bounds at the Horns' 33-yard line. Check that, Jordan James on a little wheel route down the sideline, and there is a big play, the first big one for the UCLA offense.
Yeah, you're going to watch the back come out of here on a circle route down the sideline. Texas is going to turn him loose. The corner sucks inside a little bit right there, and that's a big play on third down. Momentum for UCLA now right out of that locker room.
A gain of 40 as the Bruins in business. Jonathan Franklin fights his way for a yard.
You go back to Samantha's point about what does Mack Brown say at halftime. I think as a head coach going in there, you have to be really careful not to go in there and say, congratulate guys on how well we've played. Hey, everything's going good. Everything's going according to plan. I'm not sure you don't go in there and pitch a fit a little bit if you're Mack Brown and only talk about the negative things that happened in the first half, because you're trying to create that mindset. It wasn't nearly as good as what you think it was in the first half. You didn't play nearly as good. So don't start pounding yourself on the chest. You know, particularly with a young team, that's the kind of message you have to drive home.
Design rollout for Breho. And he has to throw it away. So it will be 3rd down and 9 for UCLA after we...
I think what you see right there is one of Rick Neuheisel's answers to the linebacker blitz. Even though they didn't blitz right there, they were anticipating. Watch this whole line just try to slide, and the quarterback trying to sprint out away from the blitz a little bit, or anticipated blitz. See right there, Bob, they moved that pocket a little bit, anticipating that middle linebacker right up the gut blitz. Let's see right now if Manny Diaz comes back with it. Just look right up the gut with these linebackers coming.
Here comes the blitz on 3rd and 9. And a drop. A nice out thrown by Brio. And Anthony Barr couldn't hold on as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. And this, after the 40-yard gain, a tough end of the drive for UCLA.
Yeah, you can put all the numbers up there. It's almost irrelevant when you have Prince with the 3 interceptions. And then McCoy, 28 plays. He was the difference offensively, I thought. Here's another long field goal attempt, 49 yards for our punter Locke.
Jeff Locke filling in for Kip Smith. And again, he's got it on line.
Wow.
No doubt about it. 50-yard field goal before halftime for Jeff Locke, and he tacks on a 49-yarder to start here in the 3rd quarter.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
A road test weekend, UCLA trying to draw closer to Texas, down by 15 now, 12.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter as UCLA takes the ball to start the 3rd quarter, and they get 3. Jeff Locke good from 51 right before halftime and 49 a moment ago, and he's the punter.
Yeah, and I talked to Jeff Locke before the game down on the field. He had labrum surgery on his hip in January. So he's back off of injury, but boy, really a strong leg.
Marquise Goodwin from the 7. He's got another gear if he breaks out of the pack. Kept it alive for a while and eventually got out to about the 29-yard line before he stepped out of bounds. But UCLA kept him penned in, so 12.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and now it's back to the offense for what was, for the most part, a mistake-free first half for Texas, and that's with Case McCoy and David Ash, 2 quarterbacks that combined coming into today for 0 career starts. But McCoy very efficient the first half.
And that 0 interception right there, as you said, probably the most impressive statistic.
Malcolm Brown starts the second half right up the middle, close to a first down. Dietrich Riley on the stop, a gain of 9 yards for Malcolm Brown.
Yeah, just back to simple I formation ball, and it looks like you found yourself an I tailback in this freshman. Missed 10 days of practice in training camp with a hamstring, set him back, but he is on pace now to become what everybody in Texas thought he was going to become.
He's got a first down carry. As a head coach, when you're in a game like this, the opposition scored a couple times to take a little bit of momentum back, but you're still in a position where it might be more about managing the game. How much more comfortable would you be if you just had a few more seniors out there to play that way?
In some ways, though, it forces you just to focus on yourself. You don't worry about UCLA as much. You're just worried about your own execution if you're Texas. So it does cause you to just focus.
Ozzie Whitaker took the handoff from David Ash on the quick quarterback change for Texas, and it looks like Case McCoy is set to come right back in on 2nd down and long.
But you see how difficult, Brian Harsin comes from Boise State. I mean, Boise State in that system forever. So he kind of inherited that system as the offensive coordinator in recent years. Comes here to Texas, and now he has to implement the system at Texas, but you don't really have the quarterback to be Boise State. So you see them doing so many different things scheme-wise. Don't really have a true identity just yet. They're trying to form their identity.
Another terrific run by Malcolm Brown, a patient run as he let his blockers pave the way. Donovan Carter on the stop, a gain of 8. 3rd down and 1 right from midfield.
That was a well-designed little play. David Snow, the left guard, excellent block wrapping around.
Here's a big play. Can UCLA get a midfield stop on 3rd down and 1? And it looks like Texas will go with the jumbo group. That's Cody Johnson in as the tailback. Play action. They'll put it up top. McCoy, a jump ball, tipped around and caught. Mike Davis ends up with the deflected reception at the 5-yard line. Sheldon Price was there for what looked like an interception, and instead it's a 45-yard gain for Texas.
Sheldon Price had the interception. Goes up, does an excellent job of playing the ball at its highest point right here. Just bounces off his hands. And not only does it just bounce off his hands, it bounces into the hands of Mike Davis. But that was a well played by Sheldon Price. Just didn't make the interception.
1st and goal, Texas at the 5. They flip it to Jackson Shipley. He'll throw it into the end zone, and the trick play works. DJ Grant there again for the Texas touchdown.
Well, Boise State's alive and well in Austin, Texas, huh? You always associate these kind of plays with Boise State. Think about it. 3rd down and 1. Go with the play action. Show a lot of confidence in your quarterback. You come back on 1st and 10 and throw the reverse pass with Jackson Shipley, a true freshman, throwing it. That's not playing it close to the vest with this young offense. Brian Harsin letting it rip a little bit.
And still in all, if I'm a UCLA fan or if I'm Rick Neuheisel, I'm saying to myself, you have to be kidding me, because just before the trick play touchdown, this should have been an interception. Sheldon Price has to come up with that football, and instead it turns into a little Boise State trickery for the Longhorns and a 35-13 lead.
College football on ABC. Brought to you by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And Hotels.com. Be smart. Book smart.
Might have noticed some burnt orange in the background. Some Texas fans made a stop at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum. One of the most popular attractions, the Air Force One exhibit. And they also have the identical replica of the Oval Office as well. And that's Reagan's 100th birthday commemorative coin. It's been made, and next week every NFL game will use it for the coin toss. 35-13 Texas on top.
A great trip for these Texas fans. Get out of that heat. Come out here, visit a beautiful part of the country, and watch some young, explosive playmakers.
And a game that could have turned back towards UCLA a moment ago on the dead run. Josh Smith makes a move to the outside. He's a terrific return man and sets UCLA up with great field position. But a moment ago, Sheldon Price had a chance to possibly turn the game back towards UCLA. Now, he came up with his first career interception in the win over San Jose State last week. And Joe Tracy, the defensive coordinator, when talking about Sheldon Price yesterday, that pick set up the run by Coleman for the touchdown. He told us not only does he have all the tools, but I told him last week, all it takes is one. You get that first one, and the floodgates open, and who knows how many more picks you might get. Well, he has an opportunity to make exactly that play at the 5-yard line. He can't do it. Brijo on the scramble picks up only a yard. As that ball's in the air, if I'm Joe Tracy, I'm probably thinking exactly what I talked about. This kid's going to get a chance to make another big play, and it goes through his hands, and one play later, Texas is in the end zone.
Yeah, because the interception against San Jose was much more difficult, but that's why it's such a great game. You just do not know. You cannot take anything for granted. But, you know, if you're UCLA, Rick Neuheisel, you hate to even think about this, but you start to feel a little bit snake bit. They had Case McCoy backed up in the end of the first half. He scrambles out. You had that situation right there where the ball bounces off your defensive back's hands.
Brijo off a play-action fake to the sideline. And that's a completion to Shaq Evans. His first catch is good for a first down.
Brijo, excellent arm strength. You see right here off the play-action fake. I mean, he really throws that football over there on the sideline. That's a big completion. You really feel like UCLA can move the ball. I don't think there's any question about that.
It's hard to say in a 35-13 game that UCLA is not being dominated, but it really has been self-inflicted wounds. The number of times in this game that they've either made a mistake or had a chance to make the momentum-changing play, just like the Price failed pick and haven't made it. In the middle goes Jonathan Franklin. A pickup of 4, maybe 5, and the chase for the Sprint Cup begins with Jimmy Johnson eyeing his 6th straight title. But regular season points leader Kyle Busch, 4-time NASCAR champion Jeff Gordon looking to be the top contenders to knock him off. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup begins with the Geico 400 at Chicago. Coverage begins tomorrow at 1 Eastern on ESPN with NASCAR Countdown presented by Napa. 2nd down and 6 for UCLA and down 3 touchdowns. Would you think about up-tempoing things a bit offensively, or do you still like huddling up and doing what you do?
I do think you pick it pace up a little bit. I mean, they're taking an awful lot of time between plays here at UCLA.
Brijo wide open, had Rosario and threw it behind him. And that looked like a pitch and catch first down waiting to happen. And Brijo could not hit Rosario. Drive chart for UCLA, and well, it's the 3 interceptions in the first quarter that really took this game apart early.
Yeah, and several drop passes, several penalties. I think this is 2-down territory if you're UCLA. 3rd down and about 6 here at the 35-yard line.
They'll run it with Franklin. He's got the first down. So a 3rd down conversion for the Bruins. A gain of 9 for Jonathan Franklin.
Here's what's so difficult about the pistol. Watch him come across in motion, and that ball is snapped right there. Now, if you're a linebacker looking through, you have the quarterback, you have the motion man coming across, and then the tailback coming at you. There's a lot of distractions in there trying to defend that zone play. That is the pistol. That's what makes it unique.
Franklin again finds a lane. He's inside the 10-yard line all the way down to the 5. 1st and goal, UCLA. 21-yard gain for Jonathan Franklin.
Here's the other way they do that. Without the motion, you're going to watch this wing block back that gives you kind of a misdirection look again. So last time they did it with the motion, this time they did it with the tight end coming across. But again, a lot of traffic in there in front of those linebackers.
7th play of the drive for UCLA. Play clock down to 10. There goes the motion man again. Rio again with the give to Franklin. He is shut down at the 5-yard line. No gain. 2nd down and goal.
We talk about this pistol offense. Nevada, Chris Ault, really started this offense. One of the best offensive coaches in all of college ball. And this year, Rick Neuheisel ran it last year, but they didn't have all the answers. They went and hired Jim Mastro from Nevada this year. Now they feel like they have the answers. Based on how you adjust, they can make the adjustments. Now they really feel comfortable moving forward schematically in this pistol.
Now it's Derek Coleman to the 1-yard line. It's funny because the novice would look at the pistol and say, it seems as if you want to back the player up in the modified shotgun, as we have an injured UCLA Bruin, in order to throw the football. And Sean Scheller, a backup weak guard on the ground for the Bruins. But Rick Neuheisel said, we employ the pistol because we need to be a better running football team, that they were a woeful run football team with a pro-style offense last year. And why does it make it that much easier and more effective to run the ball rather than adding to your passing offense the way that from the outside looking in you think it might?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons why it is. It's interesting, though. He had Norm Chow as his offensive coordinator, who is the ultimate pro-style offensive coach. With Norm Chow here, they decided to go the pistol because they just could not run the ball well enough. But the pistol gives you so many variations with the quarterback in the shotgun. You still get the advantage of being in the I formation almost, because the tailback is right behind the quarterback, where most of these shotgun teams, all these shotgun teams, the back is offset, which limits your runs which direction he can go. So you get some I formation out of it. Then you add all those motions and that jet motion. That's what the pistol is. Plus, it's a great play action offense. Interesting to see down here in the red zone in the 3rd and 1. They stay in the pistol, which is always a little bit different to me. Here you see them in more of the true spread with the back offset.
3rd down and goal at the 1. James in motion. Instead, it's Coleman. Tries to crab crawl his way to the goal line, and he's short. Well, this is a no doubt about it, go for it situation for UCLA. Yeah. They have to have a touchdown, down 3 touchdowns, and I'll give these Bruin fans some credit. A lot of them are on their feet, sensing that this is an opportunity to possibly get back in the game.
Well, here's where how committed to the pistol are you? Is there a point where you do put that quarterback up under center, but then you worry about the center quarterback snap because you never do that? This always makes me nervous in these kind of spread pistol offenses. You're starting with the quarterback 4 yards deep on the 1-foot line.
Coleman. And it looks like Texas got the stop. Second effort. No, he's in. Coleman kept driving forward, and he gets the touchdown.
Got to give UCLA credit. Bounce back after that last bit of adversity when defensively they should have the interceptions led to the touchdown. I mean, they're hanging in there.
A point after attempt makes it a 15-point game again, so it is still a 2-possession game with 4:29 to go in the 3rd quarter, and a great effort here by Derek Coleman.
It doesn't matter if you're pistol, eye, wishbone, or what. It still comes down to players and efforts like that by Coleman. It doesn't matter the offense, you get that kind of effort.
Well, these UCLA fans are not giving up hope here at the Rose Bowl. It's a road test weekend. Texas to this point passing the test, but it's still a 2-possession game. 35-20. The Longhorns on top of UCLA. Bob Shoes and Bob Davie. Samantha Steele here in Pasadena, and Mac Brown's team again surrenders a scoring drive to keep UCLA in it.
Get the feeling in this game. Texas was only 1 turnover. That was on the punt return, muff punt return by Shipley. If UCLA can force a turnover, there's a lot of ball left in this game. So far, Texas offense, no turnovers with a lot of young players on that field.
Goodwin from the goal line. Right into a pile at about the 20, and he's brought down at the 21. Let's take a look at our good hands play brought to you by Allstate. Now, to be clear, for the folks at Allstate, we're not saying that Sheldon Price had good hands here, because he did. We're crediting number 1, Mike Davis. After bad hands, there's some good hands. Followed by the trick play touchdown. And DJ Grant's had some good hands today. He's got 3 touchdown receptions. Mike Davis staying with that football on the 45-yard completion off the deflection, kept it alive, and now back to the offense for Texas. Trap handoff to Shipley. Breaks a tackle. Jackson Shipley's got a first down.
I really like the way Brian Harson's calling this game for Texas. I mean, he is taking advantage of the skill he has. Not playing it too close to the vest. I mean, right now, UCLA trying to scratch back into this game. There's a temptation just to button it up if you're Texas and run it right at him. It's giving you a lot of different little wrinkles.
Little bubble screen to Shipley, and he uses the stiff arm to pick up 2 yards.
That was a great catch by Shipley right there.
And a flag down. Sheldon Price drove him out, and the flag thrown on the sideline where Price made the stop. Is this for a little extra on the shove out of bounds? This could be a big penalty.
Personal foul, face mask, number 22. 15-yard penalty, First down.
Wow.
Yeah, you've heard of momentum breakers. UCLA provides their own momentum breakers every time they have a chance to get anything going.
So Sheldon Price, who couldn't come up with the interception on the last Texas possession, now commits a personal foul that puts the Horns in plus territory. You just can't have that. You're down 2 touchdowns. You cannot make that mistake. The toss to Malcolm Brown. He keeps fighting for yardage. That is one strong true freshman right there as he picks up close to 8.
See why Texas fans so excited to get Malcolm Brown out there. He's one of those guys you'd love to see if it was the old days, carried about 35 times like Earl Campbell and just kind of wear you down. That's not the style of this team right now, but it's pretty exciting thinking about that prospect in the future.
Gets better and better every week. He had 68 yards against BYU, 86 in the opener against Rice. Now he's over 90. As Cody Johnson comes up about 2 yards short of a first down. A big third down coming after we check in with Robert Flores.
All right, Bob, what was a close game in Lincoln between Washington and Nebraska has turned into less than that. After Washington's kick return team cannot corral the kickoff, Nebraska covers at the 1. Burkhead takes it in there close for his second touchdown, and the Huskers are up 34-17. Notre Dame opening up their lead 28-10 on Michigan State.
Well, Robert, big third down and 2 here for Texas. They'll give it to Malcolm Brown. And Brown has the first down as Texas pounds their way to the UCLA 36-yard line. Alex Mascarenas tried to make the stop. 9 of 11 on third down in this game for the Longhorns. Boy, that is the way you win on the road.
Yeah, you line up Cody Johnson at fullback at about 252 pounds. You have the big tailback at 220 pounds back there, and just run the off-tackle play. Something that's been missing at Texas is that physical run game.
And now a new formation for the first time today. We see them go Wildcat. That's Fozzie Whitaker taking the direct snap. And there goes Whitaker. Touchdown. Second of the day for Fozzie Whitaker. We've been talking all day about the impact of these young players for Texas. 18 true freshmen that are in the lineup for Mack Brown. You've got the sophomore quarterback in Case McCoy making his first ever start. How about Fozzie Whitaker? 2 touchdowns. You turn things over to your senior at times on the road.
Again, Brian Harsin, the offensive staff of Texas. It's Whitaker in at quarterback. They run the quarterback counter. They have given UCLA a lot of different looks. Let's take a look at this play. Whitaker's at quarterback. You're going to get the motion across. He's going to fake it, run a quarterback counter. They pull the backside guard and tackle. This is an excellent design play. Misdirection. You see the backside guard and fullback pull around. He goes unblocked. A fresh-legged Fozzie Whitaker, but credit the play caller. We've seen a lot of different looks. That's the 3rd different guy we've seen take a snap from center today. A lot of UCLA people down here leaving right now. UCLA again, though, a face mask penalty on that drive took away any momentum.
Down on the UCLA sideline is Samantha.
2 key injury updates for you guys on this UCLA team. Sean Scheller on the O-line injured his right arm. They took him into the locker room. Not looking good for him. And then Andrew Abbott saw the huge hit at the end of the first half. He has a mild head injury. He will not be back in this game.
All right, Samantha, thanks very much. That was the personal foul that Goodwin took on the block on Andrew Abbott. But Texas continually getting answers. Here's a fair catch called for and made on the kickoff. A designed kick by Tucker to try and keep it away from Josh Smith, and it works. Road test weekend continues tonight. How about this one? In Tallahassee at Doak Campbell, we'll have the #1 team in the country, Oklahoma, taking on Florida State. Landry Jones and E.J. Manuel square off. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific tonight. I guess the big question today, they were asking it on game day. Probably the fair question to ask. We've seen Landry Jones produce in big spots. Tonight, the biggest of big spots for E.J. Manuel as Brio sets up, slings one to the sideline, and has a man. That's a first down to Nelson Rosario. But you think E.J. Manuel is set for this test tonight?
I think that's what we're going to find out. I think you hit the nail on the head. Again, how do you project, if you're Florida State and Jimbo Fisher, how E.J. Manuel will respond? The advantage he has, he's been around that program 3 years now. And he's played in some big games before. It's the first time he's really been the starter in a game of this magnitude. But, you know, we're going to find out if E.J. Manuel's for real. We'll find out if Florida State's deserving of that number 5 national ranking. 2 great games tonight. You have Miami and Ohio State on ESPN as well.
Brio with the pitch. And not much there for Anthony Barr. Kenny Vaccaro tripped him up after a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Every time you have the feeling that UCLA can sneak back into this game, Texas offense has responded, in part to some mistakes by UCLA.
No question the Bruins defense has had chances to make plays, but it's still 8 possessions and 6 touchdowns for Texas. Third down and long upcoming for UCLA as Keenan Robinson shuts down Jonathan Franklin, and that should take us to the end of the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, you're down 22 going into the 4th quarter. It's time where you're just going to have to live and die with throwing that ball, even if it's not the style that Rick Neuheisel wants.
A 3-possession lead for Texas as we end the 3rd quarter. Rick Neuheisel's team, unfortunately for Bruin fans, they traded touchdowns with Texas in the 3rd quarter. Not good enough, though. DJ Grant with 3 touchdowns today. Derek Coleman tried to answer. Then it was Fozzie Whitaker stretching the lead to 22 once again. The Horns in control. Back in Pasadena. You know, in so many of the pro sports, it's all about building new buildings. In college football, though, these old cathedrals, there's a lot of tradition. And this is one of those as we are at the Rose Bowl, start of the 4th quarter. Texas and UCLA. The Rose Bowl, Notre Dame Stadium, the big house at Michigan, on and on.
Here they come.
Here comes the blitz. Brio stands in, up the seam. Can't get a completion. Crowd wants a flag. Rosario thought he was interfered with as well. And no flag comes out as Cameron Bindum was there in coverage. Well, it's not a game, as we mentioned, where UCLA has not had their opportunities, but you probably have to overall give Texas a lot of credit. 14 points per quarter. They've been very efficient.
Yeah, and what jumps out at me, a great job by Texas offensive coaching staff of putting players in a position where they can do what they do best and be successful. You think of all the little different things Brian Harsin has done personnel-wise today. Jackson Shipley throwing a pass. Fozzie Whitaker at Wildcat quarterback. So many different things to take advantage of guys' skills.
Just that close, UCLA, to keeping it out of the end zone, but they can't do it. It's a touchback, and it's September. Things are going to heat up in the city of Miami. Charlie's got 3 new Angels, and they're taking down the criminals who are above the law. From executive producer Drew Barrymore, ABC's Charlie's Angels, all new, Thursdays this fall on ABC. Case McCoy and David Ash as a combination have been very, very efficient and very impressive today. And for the most part, it has been McCoy. Every now and then, Brian Harsin has dialed up a throw for David Ash. Malcolm Brown, true freshman running back, also closing in on 100 yards. As we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. And more than anything else, Coach, it probably is, with a very young offense, for Texas, the efficiency of their execution.
Yeah, I mean, we have to mention 0 turnovers on offense. Texas 1 turnover on a punt return, muff punt return by Shipley. 15 for 18 passing, 3 touchdowns, with 2 quarterbacks that have never started a game before.
Brown again. Lost the football. Inside the 30-yard line. UCLA's got it. Dietrich Riley knocked it free. Well, a quick strike by UCLA here, and it would be early 4th quarter still, and it would be a 2-possession game.
Yeah, and it's taken longer than I thought. But when you play those young freshmen, ball security is always an issue. But I give credit right there to UCLA. That was pretty good security by Malcolm Brown, positioning where he had that ball. That was just a great hit by Riley right there to knock that thing out.
Rick Neuheisel said that Dietrich Riley has Troy Polamalu type skill. And that was a Troy Polamalu kind of play to come up and try and change momentum. And now UCLA needs to attack quickly.
Let's see if UCLA goes play action right now. Gets this thing up top to Rosario, their big tall receiver.
There's the play action. Brijo wanted to go up top, nothing there, and now he runs for his life and goes down. Emmanuel Acho gets the sack. It's a loss of 1.5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and long.
Yeah, big problem UCLA has, I think, speed at wide receiver. They have some big, tall, good-looking wide receivers, but not great acceleration down the field. Rosario, about 6'4", maybe the catch of the year so far in all of college football that first week against Houston.
Straight shotgun this time for Brijo. Jordan James on the end around, maybe 3 or 4 yards. It'll be 3rd down and long. Keenan Robinson is on the watch list for the Butkus, Bednarik, Nagurski, and Lombardi Awards. Track down Jordan James.
Yeah, these 3 linebackers from Texas, Acho, Keenan Robinson, and then Jordan Hicks, the young sophomore. They are very talented at the linebacker position. Remember Sam Acho, Hicks, the #1 linebacker in all of high school football out of Ohio. Surprised a lot of people and came to Texas. They're a young, talented defense without any question.
3rd down and 9. 2-down territory, certainly for UCLA. Tipped ball, and it falls incomplete. 4th down and 9 as Blake Gideon, the senior leader of that Texas secondary, got the tip. He got a deflection earlier on the Adrian Phillips interception as well. Now it's 4th down, and UCLA is compelled to go for it.
UCLA efficiency improvement in the passing game is going to be the key for them to me. If offensively they can really be good this year. They can run it pretty good. Can they be efficient passing will be the question.
Here comes the blitz again. Brijo up the seam, and he's got the 4th down conversion. The catch is made. The ball jarred free. They're going to rule that, I believe, Foria with a completion and a fumble as Adrian Phillips knocked it free, and it's recovered by Texas.
I'm not sure he had possession of that. They'll take another look at that. Fourier, the big tight end, 6'8" up the seam. Not sure he had possession of that long enough. You're going to see the big tight end right here. Texas in a 2-deep zone. He's going to split those safeties. That's very close. Now in the NFL, that is not a completion. College football.
The previous play is under further review.
Well, UCLA is hoping that the play stands as called, because even though it is a fumble recovery by Texas, Texas either ends up with the football inside their own 5-yard line at the 3, or they'll be back out close to the 30-yard line. It's a 25-yard difference in field position on this call. But I agree with you. I don't know that you would say that he completed the catch fully before the ball was popped out. Now again, the call on the field was a completion, so it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the precedent that was set on the field.
UCLA with so many opportunities to make just individual plays in this game, whether it's been a dropped pass a batted drop interception. Been a lot of individual plays they'd love to have back.
If Joseph Fourier could have held on to that one, it would have been 1st and goal inside the 10-yard line. So either way, it's Texas football. It just depends on where they'll spot the football, whether it's at the 3-yard line or out close to the 30.
After further video review, the play stands as called.
So they will rule it a completion and a fumble recovered by Texas. And the Longhorns have it at their own 3-yard line. And the fumble turns out to not cost Texas as Malcolm Brown puts it on the ground, but UCLA can't convert.
Now they've got the big tailback in there. Cody Johnson, 260-pounder back there.
And Cody Johnson gives Texas a little bit of breathing room out to about the 7-yard line, a gain of 4. Eric Kendricks made the stop. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, just visiting with Mac Brown this week. Both of us just talking about having fun again. You know, it had gotten to Texas where he just wasn't having fun last year. It was kind of thinking whatever can go wrong will go wrong. It's been energized by these new coaches and these new players at Texas this year.
Another true freshman that time, Joe Bergeron, on the carry as we check in with Samantha.
Yeah, guys, no signs of life on this UCLA sideline right now. In the last timeout, Coach Neuheisel gathered the entire team together at midfield. When they came out of that speech, nobody was fired up. I don't think it was a rah-rah speech, guys. Right now, Sean Westgate is the guy that's trying to pump everybody up. But don't interpret that to mean that they're not supportive of their coach. I talked to these guys all week, Sean included, and he said that he knows this coach cares about them. They just have to make things happen on the field, and that's what they can't get done right now.
Well, here's a chance for a 3rd down stop on 3rd and 6. McCoy in the shotgun, flags down at the snap. It's a low throw, almost intercepted. UCLA thinks they scooped it up, and they'll say that the football hit the ground. Patrick Larimore almost picked off on the deflection case. McCoy.
This is the 3rd offsides on UCLA that I can remember today. I mean, they just flat lined up in the neutral zone.
Offside, defense, number 56. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Well, it's not a 1st down yet, as it's still 3rd down and 1, so still a chance for UCLA's defense to get off the field. But boy, they have been woeful today trying to get stops on 3rd down. Texas is 9 for 11 on 3rd down.
Still 3rd down.
And they'll go with Cody Johnson again at tailback. Cody Johnson this time looks to be short. And certainly by the spot that both officials look like they agree upon, he's short of the 1st down line to make. Donovan Carter and Cassius Marsh combine on the stop. And Cody Johnson is short. It'll be 4th down, and here comes the punting unit.
Really hard to block punts against this rugby-style shield punt that Texas uses. UCLA with 2 returners back, because in rugby-style punts they usually spray that ball around and you don't want it to roll on the ground.
Wobbly kick, fair catch called for, and made at the UCLA 41-yard line by Shaq Evans. 47-yard punt, and Texas still in control. Over 10 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Aerial coverage here at the Rose Bowl provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires for superior performance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven.
We both grew up back in the Northeast. You look at this blimp shot, it reminds you back in November and December, back in those gray, cold days, watching that UCLA-USC game every year. Huh?
or the Rose Bowl itself as Jonathan Franklin picks up maybe a half yard. That's Bob Davey. I'm Bob Wischusen. Samantha Steele with us here as well. And the story of this game developed early. Kevin Prince started 3 interceptions in the first quarter.
Yeah, just really a poor performance by Kevin Prince. Back from injury at quarterback with 3 interceptions. And then this latest turnover here by Faurier, but 4 turnovers. That's the story of this game, along with some silly penalties by UCLA.
Rosario picks up 5 as we check in with Robert Flores.
All right, Bob. AT&T All-America Player of the Week update. Clemson snapping Auburn's 17-game winning streak. Taj Boyd a big reason why. 371 yards and 4 touchdowns in the win. You can text 55862 to vote and for a chance at a trip to the national championship. Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney said it's appropriate that an Alabama grad snapped Auburn's winning streak.
That's a fair point. Coming up short of the first down is Ricky Marbre. Keenan Robinson on the stop. So again, UCLA in a position where they have to go for it on 4th down and about 1.5 yards.
And a good decision, obviously, to go hurry up right here.
They'll try and run for it. Franklin tripped up. He might be short. It looks like UCLA has turned it over on downs right back to Texas. They'll measure to make it official, but he's a half-yard shot, at least. Manny Diaz's defense is a fun group to watch.
Yeah, it really ties in well with this entire team right now, because offensively, they're the same way.
And there's the turnover on downs, making it official. You also got the sense from Mack Brown, as Rick Neuheisel continues to have a frustrating afternoon, that there is a level of enthusiasm that has been regenerated for his football team just by the youth of these assistant coaches. We'll talk more about that when we come back.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports, and Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Some of the famous faces that have put on a display here in the Rose Bowl. Of course, the latest of which, the BCS championship game. Mark Ingram and Nick Saban get to kiss the crystal football after they took out Texas last year. But Phil Simms and the Giants win the Super Bowl back in 1987. Randy Chastain, of course, the U.S. women's soccer team victorious. And Vince Young put on a performance for the ages and a game for the ages. National championship win for Texas.
He talked about those new coaches at Texas, 5 new coaches on the staff. And Mack said he wanted to start over. He wanted out. He wanted to have new blood, fresh blood, and you made the point that he's energized by it. I think that's valid. You know, just watching his body language on the sidelines, particularly against BYU in that second half. I mean, it's not taking anything for granted. You're coaching every down with these young guys.
Fozzie Whitaker looks like he has another Texas first down as we take a look at Coach Davey's focus points and how they've come to fruition.
I think the first one's a home run. Not only managing the quarterback situation, managing personnel overall. You just saw Fozzie Whitaker with another carry. Young players protect the ball. That was excellent today. Commit to stop the run. Think back a year ago in Austin. They gave up 263 yards rushing to UCLA. So, I mean, this is an A on the report card for these coaches today from Texas. I think an excellent job.
Malcolm Brown moves the pile for about 2 yards. Stopped at the UCLA 38-yard line by Nate Chandler. Well, Brian Harsin, Major Applewhite, the co-offensive coordinators for Mack Brown. We talked about Manny Diaz as the defensive coordinator. What about getting coaches infused into a coaching staff all in their mid-30s? I mean, it's just maybe a different mindset, a different way to approach the game. Young minds that have kind of reinvigorated Mack Brown.
Yeah, Mack said they don't have the scars on them like the older coaches. They haven't been beat up as much. You know.
Fozzie Whitaker for about a pair.
But I think, you know, what a great opportunity. I mean, you're Manny Diaz at such a young age, what, 34 years old. You're the defensive coordinator at the University of Texas. And you're Brian Harsin at 33 years old, the offensive coordinator at Texas. With this kind of talent, I mean, you really have no reason not to be successful. And he hired two guys that I think outside the box a little bit. You know, they do some untraditional things.
Direct snap to Jackson Shipley and a little counter handoff. That looks Boise State-ish as DJ Monroe gets bumped out of bounds, maybe 2 yards shy of a first down. It'll set up 4th down and 2 for Texas.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you just go for it right here. Biggest question you have, who's your quarterback?
Case McCoy will come back in. 4th down and 2.
I guess the question would be, moving forward, if Texas falls behind in a game, are they capable to throw it well enough to win? And who is that quarterback to throw it? Do you bring Gilbert back in if you fall behind and try to throw it with him?
McCoy will throw forward on 4th and 2 here.
Wow.
Buys some extra time, and he finds Shipley. Shipley wrestled down inside the 20-yard line by Sheldon Price. Again, an example, though, of Case McCoy buying a little bit of extra time, and Jackson Shipley able to break free.
Man, he's fun to watch. I mean, again, this all-22 will show you just a guy making a play, keeping it alive at quarterback. You know, how do you evaluate this stuff? You know, out of high school, some guys are bigger, some guys are stronger. You know, some guys look like the prototype quarterback. Well, here's a guy like Case that doesn't look like any of those things, except his brother was a star player.
Direct snap to Fozzie Whitaker, and he's up the middle for 6 more.
I mean, you stand down there in pregame and look at Case McCoy, but I remember Colt was like that. You look at Colt as a young freshman or sophomore, he thought he was 12 years old. I mean, they're kind of late maturing guys, but not the biggest, strongest guy. I mean, you stand him next to Garrett Gilbert, it's not close. But he has shown today a little Doug Flutie type of scramble, throw on the run ability.
Malcolm Brown to about the 10-yard line, while the quarterbacks have combined for 16 of 19 passing today for Texas. And you know what, Coach? If it was all about what you looked like getting off the bus, then Drew Brees wouldn't be going to the Hall of Fame, and Jeff George would be.
You're right.
You know, so obviously there's a lot more, and you know this better than anyone, about what goes into playing the position, other than, you know, your 40 time, how hard you could throw it, and how big you are.
Yeah, and then some guys do it in the game. Don't necessarily turn you on in practice that much. There's some great players who never got their opportunity because they weren't very good practice players.
3rd down and 2. Malcolm Brown again. It's very close to another Texas first down. Maybe a half-yard shy. It'll be 4th down, and no doubt Texas will probably go for it again.
Texas on the road the next 2 weeks. I thought it was interesting, Mac coming out here with all these young freshmen on their first trip. You know, a lot of kids in Texas, particularly at the University of Texas, they commit to Texas early. Some of these kids, it's their first flight ever coming out here. He assigned an older player, kind of a big brother, to each freshman to kind of guide them through what it's like to be on these trips.
4th down and a yard. Play clock down to 2, down to 1, and Texas has to spend a timeout. So we will step aside as well. The Longhorns, very impressive today. A brand new show on ESPN. Join Susie Colbert, Chris Mortensen, and a rotating cast of NFL analysts and guests in ESPN's latest unscripted show, NFL 32. Experts discuss the biggest topics of the day from all 32 NFL teams. NFL 32 each weeknight at 6 Eastern on ESPN2 as we return from break after the Texas timeout. 4th down and a half-yard. The lone setback, Malcolm Brown. And they'll try and sneak it with Case McCoy. That will be good for a Longhorn first down. And now they'll be able to take the clock down inside of a minute to go, just about.
We saw Larry Scott commissioner of the Pac-12 came in before the game, who's done an outstanding job. Interesting to see what develops over the next couple weeks, particularly with the Big 12.
Well, one article in Austin suggested there was a chance that the most logical spot for Texas to end up might be the ACC. There was also a report in the New York Times that Pittsburgh and Syracuse have both discussed the possibility of moving to the ACC.
Wow. The thought
so
of
that
Texas
could completely shake apart the Big East, even as a basketball conference.
It's hard to picture Texas in the ACC, though, isn't it?
Cody Johnson into the end zone for some icing on the cake, as Texas has done all they could do to pass their road test this weekend, 48-20 on top of UCLA.
It has to feel good to finish it with a power run like that. Something that Mac really talked about, emphasized all last season. He wanted this football team to be more physical. You're just going to see the off-tackle play right there with the lead blocker, but really nobody at home for UCLA. But it doesn't matter. I mean, Texas accomplished everything they wanted to. You've watched this football team improve steadily week by week. Texas fans have to leave out of here really excited about the future.
49 points on the road for the Longhorns. What a performance here at the Rose Bowl. "11 Texas possessions and 7 Texas touchdowns." 49 points later, they have better than doubled up UCLA in their home building. 2:57 to go in the fourth quarter of a road test weekend for number 23. And the Longhorns about to improve to 3-0 to start off the season after a disastrous 5-7 record last year. And we say disastrous, I mean that is as good as 0-11 if you are a Texas fan, because the standards that Mac Brown has set about as off the charts as you could hope for, as another high short kick will result in a fair catch for UCLA. And this is a program that has 6 11-plus win seasons in the 11 years. The last 11 years with Mac Brown at the helm, they had 4 11-win seasons in the history of the program before Mac Brown took over. So they're used to being in the top 10. They're used to being a Big 12 champion. They're used to being a dominant team at home. And last year, to lose not only the way that they lost to UCLA at home, but to lose as many games at home last year as they had lost in the previous decade in one season. Amazing. Brijo floats one, and it's dropped by Fourier. UCLA's focus points today for Coach Davey, and obviously you can tell on the scoreboard they fell short.
Yeah, I think the first one, you can see right there, a lot of drop passes, not real efficient in the passing game. They had to stay in running down situations. Look at 3rd and 4 or less, they averaged 6.7 on 3rd down. Improved passing game, 3 interceptions, first 4 drives, several drop passes, didn't accomplish that. Stop the run, I don't think they did that. So Texas with 248 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. But you look at Texas going forward again. You know, they're in a league with Texas A&M, who's going to score a lot of points. Oklahoma State's going to score a lot of points. Oklahoma's going to score a lot of points. Texas defense really is going to have to play outstanding as this offense continues to develop, because I'm not sure they're ready to put 49 points on the Oklahoma States and those teams. But they're in a conference that is really explosive. Some great passing teams in the Big 12.
3rd down and 10. Brijo to Rosario. He can't haul it in. It'll be 4th and 10 after we check in with Robert Flores.
Bob, South Carolina is 2-0, and their defense has been good and terrible. 79 points allowed in the first 2 games, and here Navy's John Howe gets them for a 27-yard run. South Carolina did answer and now tied 7 apiece, end of 1.
All right, Robert, thanks very much. As South Carolina is getting a taste of what has to be about as big a pain in the neck team as there is to play in college football.
Took the words out of my mouth. Nobody wants to see Navy come to town.
Locke's punt rolls all the way down inside the 5-yard line.
Locke has to be our MVP for UCLA. 49, 51-yard field goal. He's not even the starting kicker. and will be an NFL punter.
His career is over 44-yard average here at UCLA. So Texas with the ball at their own 5-yard line, and that actually brings them right in front of the burnt orange traveling contingent, because the majority of Texas fans are sitting right in the end zone behind where the Texas offense lines up. That's about the only group left inside the Rose Bowl, so they'll have a chance to kind of celebrate with their team right on the doorstep here. Bill Bergeron across the 20. Another true freshman running back for Texas out to the 32-yard line. Aaron Hester ran him out. 27-yard run for Joe Bergeron.
Challenge is for Rick Neuheisel and UCLA. Where they go from here. You know, they lose to Houston in the opener. They beat San Jose, but that was kind of like a loss to these fans because San Jose was beat 52-3 by Stanford the week before. This loss today is really tough because this is a team they beat last year in Austin. Yeah,
decidedly. They ran for over 260 yards against Texas in Austin last year, as you mentioned. Again, it's Bergeron, and he picks up about 3. And, you know, the numbers, unfortunately for Rick Neuheisel now in his 4th year, are starting to pile up in the wrong direction. He will now be, assuming Texas finishes this season as an above 500 team, they're 2-19 in their last 21 games against teams that ultimately at the end of their seasons were 500 or above. And this will also drop UCLA to 3-9 under Rick Neuheisel against ranked teams. Bergeron moves the pile to the 40-yard line, 2 yards shy of a first down. And there are no pro football teams in Los Angeles. The college football teams are the football teams. So when you start to talk about job security and being on the hot seat, the things that normally you're talking about with NFL coaches, I mean, in the #2 media market in the country, which Los Angeles is, you talk about the college coaches that way.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, Rick came in with such high expectations. You know, the billboards about overtaking USC, it was UCLA's time, all those kind of things. And they just haven't been able to capitalize on the misfortunes at USC with the probation. And now with new teams coming into the Pac-10, they need some momentum. You know, you look at the Colorados and Utahs coming in. It's kind of an exciting time in the Pac-10, but nobody talking about UCLA.
So a frustrating afternoon for Rick Neuheisel's team, but a very efficient performance by Case McCoy and the Longhorns. It's a road test weekend. Many different ranked teams on the road in what you think might be a tough environment. Texas handled it beautifully today. You know, Mack Brown has a way of making you feel good. Really? Even when you couldn't feel more lousy, he is just about as wonderful a representative as we have in college sports. And his team represented themselves beautifully today, a 49-20 win. So off of a 5-7 season last year, Longhorn Nation was greeted by Mack Brown this year when he stepped to the podium and said, "Hi, I'm Mack Brown. This is my first year at Texas," signaling we are starting over. Well, he certainly seems to have the Longhorns back where the Longhorns are used to being, and that is inside the top 25 and looking very much like a factor. Not only in the Big 12 race, but who knows where things end up this season. I mean, if these freshmen continue to play the way that they have played through the first 3 weeks, is there any reason to think that Texas doesn't have enough talent to possibly even be a championship contender? And one of those young players is with Samantha.
Case, the last time you were here, you were sitting in the stands watching your brother. Today you come out with a huge showing. Were you nervous at all? How'd you show up this big, this early?
I was very nervous coming in, but I mean, once I got suited up and got on the field, and this place is amazing. UCLA is a great team. We saw that last year. Great guys, and they fought hard. But hats off to us, man. We played great. Fans came out and showed up here in California. We just had a great time.
We've all heard about Brian Harson's offense and doing all these different things. Today was a perfect example. DJ Grant comes into the game with 1 catch for 5 yards and then 3 touchdowns. Were you a part of this at all? And how do you feel switching things up all the time?
I told the tight ends before they better be ready. We're throwing the ball to them this week, so it was fun. DJ played great. He found a way to get open, and if you're open, we're going to throw you the ball. So the offense is great. Coach Harson had a great game, called great plays, and it went well. We decided we wanted to come out in the first half and play great, unlike the last couple of weeks, and we did, and we just got to start carrying it over to next week.
I saw you early asserting yourself on the sideline. Do you feel like you're the solidified leader of this football team now?
I consider myself a leader, but we have a lot of leaders. The Lord's definitely blessed me to be here, be on this team, and we just got to give him all the glory tonight.
All right, go enjoy this one, Case. Thanks.
All right, Samantha, thanks very much. A tremendous win for Case McCoy in his first ever start in the Rose Bowl. Texas wins 49-20 here against UCLA. Thanks so much to our entire ESPN crew. Let's go back to the studio now off the Texas win.